Power pays in many ways. In the power play. Raw power. Engine power. Precision power. And here's another sport where raw, roaring power pays off in many ways. This is a tractor pull, a sport that's booming in popularity throughout the land. A uniquely rural contest that can be anyone's spectator sport. Of course, years back, no one thought much about a tractor except as a replacement for a plow horse. But when rubber-tired tractors made the scene in the early 30s, Barney Oldfield introduced the sport of tractor racing and set a record of 67 miles per hour. Today, while it may be the age of Aquarius for some, it's the age of Tractus, for the men who work the land. Tractus, the Latin base for our words tractor and traction. Traction, that takes power and balance at the drive wheels. Great roaring power from the throbbing engine. Big pull power at the hitch. And that's also what it takes when a farmer pits his tractor against those of his fellow entries in a pull contest. We've had tractor pulls in one form or another since the late 1930s. As the new sport grew more and more popular, rules and organizations evolved to assure uniformity, safety, and fairness in competition. We asked Ed Hart about some of the rules. Ed's the organizer and first executive secretary of the National Tractor Pullers Association. He's a farmer who's been with tractor pulling for a long time.
I'd like to know just a little bit about the history of tractor pulling. How did it all start?
It all started some 31 years ago in two different towns, by the way, Vaughnsville, Ohio, and Bowling Green, Missouri. And it started with farmers wanting to find out who had the toughest tractor like they had in the past with their horses. And we moved along to where we've been sophisticated like we have today. And we've accomplished a lot of things through tractor pulling. We've promoted a sport for all the fairs and so on, and we also have got product knowledge for the manufacturers of these tractors that they've gained through the competition, like auto racing.
The spectators certainly have a lot of fun watching, and I'm certain the participants out there have just as much fun. Could you tell us a little bit about the rules? How do you determine a winner?
Well, the winner is determined by the fellow that pulls the sled the furthest distance, and the weight is added to the sled as they pull down the track. The maximum length of a track is 300 feet, so the fellow starts from the zero stake. The farther he goes, the wheels move out from under the sled, and the weight is added to the sled itself. And the further they go, the harder it pulls. And the fellow that pulls it the furthest is the winner.
Now, there's a pace tractor, is there not, that determines if the participants are traveling too fast? They are limited to a certain miles per hour?
Right. Our stock block tractors are limited to 6 miles an hour, where our modified tractors go 8 miles an hour. And the pace tractor moves out at this speed, and the driver of the competing tractor cannot pass the pace tractor.
Now, you mentioned modified and stock classes. You've also got some weight divisions that you have to qualify for. Is that right?
Right. Each division has its weight classifications. There are 5,000 pounds, 7,000 pounds, 9,000 pounds, 12,000, and 15,000 as a heavyweight.
Could you tell us a little bit about your organization, the National Tractor Pullers Association?
As the National Tractor Pullers Association, an organization of competing members all over the country, and our purpose is to establish rules, and safety is our prime concern, and we work very closely with the National Safety Council and the ASAE people.
By the early 1970s, 1 million people yearly were turning out to see one of the 1,500 sanctioned pulls, in which a total of 6,000 contestants was entered. At some pulls, the drag of the sled is increased by adding people weight. Another means of increasing drag is to tow a truck with its front wheels on the sled. Then the braking on the rear wheels is gradually increased to increase the drag of the sled and the pull on the tractor hitch. The moving weight, however, provides the most uniform, fair, and accurate loading. The large weight moves forward automatically as the sled is pulled over the course, constantly increasing the drag at the hitch so that more pull is required. And what's the tractor class for this? Invariably, the pulls have classes for the modifieds, with engines from airplanes, from Army tanks, any engine with plenty of roaring power that can be adapted. Crowds are getting bigger every year. Crowds at pulls at county fairs. At pulls at state fairs, where the competition usually gets a little stiffer. Pulls at national meets, like the one at Farm Fest USA, a big international trade show in a salute to world agriculture that drew up to 40,000 visitors each day. There, the Grand National Tractor Pull had entries from the Appalachians to the Rockies, and from Canada as well. Here's Clyde Buxton of Plattsville, Wisconsin, winner in the 5,000-pound class.
This isn't the only time that you've stepped into the winner's circles. I know you've been winner at a number of other pulls. Can you tell us about some of them and what they were?
Well, some of the bigger ones was Minnesota State Championship and Iowa State Championship, and the second at Springfield, Illinois at their state championship pull.
How many pulls do you enter in a season?
About 35 this summer we have been due.
I know that this tractor's putting out a little bit more than what the manufacturer rates it at. Could you give us an idea of how many cubic inches this engine has and what the horsepower is that it's turning out?
It's a 301 cubic inch. It's turned out between 300 and 400 horse. We've never run out of power with it yet.
Then there is the Super Bowl of the Tractor Pulls, a feature attraction held each year at the National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky. Here's where the top pullers gather to pit their skill and tractors against each other. 20,000 people thrilled to the action on each of 3 power-packed nights. And these are nights that follow hours of careful tuning up. And even then, at Louisville, as at other pulls, the moment of truth taxes the best of power equipment. the roar of power is echoed by the roar of the crowd as champs are made. Champs like Al Arnold of Martinsville, Indiana, a 2-year back-to-back winner in the heavyweight class.
Now, there's people that say that there's no connection between the track and the field. What do you think?
Well, I think there definitely is. The engine components and rear end and transmission to stand quadrupling the horsepower, if it will take that for even a short period, 30 seconds, it would certainly prove that it would stand to be powered in the field.
One last question.
What's that?
What'd you do to that tractor to make it win?
That's for me to know and you to find out.
New champs, too, like Gordon Outred of Brantford, Ontario, Canada, won the 12,000-pound pull his first time out in the Louisville event. The roar of power is sweet music for these men, and the roar of the crowd for the winners is even sweeter. Yet best of all, the lessons learned, the knowledge gained, not only enable manufacturers to build better tractors, but also the pullers learn how to get the utmost from their tractors, whether at a pull or on the farm, where the roar of power in the field will do its utmost in producing crops to feed a hungry nation.